I would like to talk about why green building standards should be mandatory in Hope 6 developments. As you know, our public housing was built poorly and inefficiently. Many of our developments are wasteful and hazardous to the health of the residents, and many investments we make in public housing developments, which will be around for the next 40 years, should ensure that this housing is safe, sound, energy efficient, and good for the environment. This is just good public policy.
Under the bill before us, Hope 6 projects must meet energy-saving requirements embodied in the green community criteria established by enterprise partners and the American Planning Association, the American Institute of Architects, and the National Resource Defense Council, among others, who have put forth a comprehensive set of criteria. A well-documented study showed an average of only 2.4% increase in cost. We all need to remember that we build housing for 50 to 100 years. The small increased construction cost produces huge savings in lower monthly bills for energy for tenants.
We're here as the landlord, not as the regulator. And what we're saying is we are the federal government, and we will set an example. We will take the money that we, the federal government, make available and hold ourselves to a high energy efficiency standard. And if people think that's inappropriate and it's too expensive, they don't have to apply to come here. But this leaves everybody in the private sector totally free to do as they wish. And what we're saying is, as the landlord, we want to build it in a way that makes it energy efficient going forward. We'll take an upfront cost because over time, over 20 and 30 and 40 years, we will reduce our operating budget.
This is a standard that reduces and eliminates waste. It's a standard that promotes local businesses and local communities. It's a standard that provides adequate housing for those who otherwise would not have adequate housing. The high cost of housing has increased the high cost of renting, and the peripheral outside effect is that has increased homelessness. And so Hope 6 goes a long way into eliminating that problem in our communities. It is not a mandate to comply with one standard. You save way more energy than upfront cost, and it uses standards of efficiency that are off-the-shelf technology.
In an effort to be better stewards of our environment, this bill requires all replacement housing and other structures part of the Hope 6 development to be built in accordance with flexible green building standards. And it's appropriate for government to have high environmental standards that will be more energy efficient in the future and in the long run will save taxpayers' dollars. This bill continues a really important program that revitalizes severely distressed public housing and transforms them into safe, livable communities.
I wish we had more Hope 6 projects, because I'll never forget when we opened one of them. It had been the area had been drug infested, high rise, and when we opened it up, literally a lot of the residents came back and they were crying. There were others because they were going to move in. There were others who couldn't move in because we did not have enough housing. I'll never forget that day. I said, this is like having Andy of Mayberry in the middle of our community. And it is. Children are able to play, men sitting out late at night playing checkers, people can leave their bikes out. Wonderful life and giving hope. That's what it's all about.
As I mentioned earlier, we in Portland used Hope 6 to create an environmentally sensitive community that actually provided twice as many housing units as had been on the site before, using Hope 6 as an anchor and as a model. The provisions that are in the underlying bill and the manager's amendment will provide more environmentally sensitive construction, and frankly the costs are going to be recovered in relatively short order, as my friend from Massachusetts pointed out, in savings, not just from energy, but savings, for example, in water and sewer. These costs are going up exponentially over time. Having this wired into the Hope 6 provision means that it is a better investment for the community and a better investment for the federal government. It's going to save the federal government and the tenants money over the long haul.
Here, in this instance, the federal government is the owner and the financier of these projects. It has the right, as any property owner does, as any owner does, to say how it wants its building built. And that's what's done within this proposal, within this bill. And that is to build these units in a green fashion. And so that, I think, is appropriate. It is an appropriate exercise of ownership to say we want these to be green. And the people of the United States of America in this last election said we have to be more energy conscious. We have to figure out a change to how we power this nation and how we consume energy. And this is where we get started as a federal government.